Xbox has been making some big gambles lately, and people are debating back and forth whether or not those gambles have paid off for them. One of their more publicized risks was Xbox Game Pass, going all in on it at the start of this generation, promising to bring AAA first-party titles to the service day one as well as third-party ones, giving subscribers access to hundreds of Xbox games in exchange for just a monthly subscription. In today's edition of Xbox Ready, we have yet another wrinkle in the ongoing saga of whether or not Game Pass is good or evil. We'll talk about a huge milestone that Game Pass just hit, and a game-breaking bug that you'll want to avoid for this popular Game Pass title. So like I was just saying, there has been a ton of debate over whether or not Game Pass is a good thing, or if it's gonna lead to the downfall of human civilization as we know it. Not only are fans of gaming discussing this, but game developers themselves are chiming in. And at one point, even Jim Ryan over at Sony stepped in and said, no, Game Pass sucks. I don't know any developers who like it at all. There's been developers that have come out and said, no, we really like Game Pass. And other developers that were like, I don't really know if we should have put our game on Game Pass. The people behind Somerville said that it cannibalized their sales once their game showed up on Game Pass. But Lies of P was reportedly very thrilled with the way people were engaging with their game once it was added. Back in June of 2023, the developers behind Planet of Lana said, for us at Wishfully being an indie studio releasing our first game, it has been invaluable. It lowers the entry bar for players to discover and try our game with a huge potential to bring over players that normally might not gravitate towards the puzzle platform genre as well. We're beyond happy with the collaboration with the team at Xbox and Microsoft that has helped Planet of Lana in so many ways over the years. And today I woke up to an interview that Gareth Damian Martin just did with Edge Magazine. He's one of the developers behind Citizen Sleeper, and he seemed to have nothing but praise for Xbox Game Pass. The write-up is as follows. The first Citizen Sleeper was released straight onto Game Pass and has stayed there ever since. It'll be joined by the sequel at launch. When we asked Gareth Damian Martin about the reasoning there, they point us straight to the game's Xbox reviews. They all say things like, I don't play these kinds of games, but I tried it because it was on Game Pass and I loved it. And that was massive for Citizen Sleeper. He goes on to say, to be honest, I think Game Pass is keeping a lot of indie studios going right now. The money is a pittance to Microsoft, but to us, it's the thing that means we can make another video game. And to me, this highlights one of the most underrated parts about being a Game Pass subscriber. Of course, there's a lot of fuss about the AAA games on Xbox, the upcoming Activision Blizzard titles being integrated into the library, all of the Bethesda stuff that was moved over post-acquisition, all of the future day one AAA editions that are going to be added. But especially in those down times for Xbox, like in 2022, their strong indie catalog is what has saved the service for me in a lot of ways. And what is being described in this interview here when he's saying, you know, sometimes people don't play certain genres of games, but they see it on Game Pass and they end up loving it. That can be said for not only Citizen Sleeper, but for a huge number of games in the Game Pass library. Games like Planet of Lana, Cassette Beasts, Nobody Saves the World. I'll throw in games like The Artful Escape as well. Firewatch, Hollow Knight. So many games fit that bill for me where I'm like, I don't usually play this. I ended up playing on Game Pass. I'm like, what? I'm stupid. Why didn't I give this game a chance before? And sure, maybe there's a ton of indie game developers out there that don't like Game Pass or what it represents or what it's trying to do. But in my humble opinion, as a guy with a camera and a microphone and a modest YouTube following, we're in the middle of an indie game renaissance, and Xbox is playing a pretty big part of it. But it's not just indie games that are getting a boost from Xbox Game Pass, no. Xbox President Sarah Bond, in a recent round of emails that were obtained by Windows Central and confirmed as genuine, she said a lot of things which we'll discuss in another video, but she said we are integrating Activision Blizzard King titles into our service, and we also launched Diablo 4 into Game Pass, and Xbox has quickly become the #1 platform for Diablo 4 players. It's pretty cool to see that an established AAA franchise can get a boost much in the same way that smaller indie games can. I'm seeing a lot of weird discourse about this, though, on the internet, specifically Twitter, and that's always my mistake, right? Opening up Twitter is 9 times out of 10, always a bad idea. It's like pretty much a guaranteed way to put me in a bad mood. I just think the rhetoric on there is whack. It's just like, it just pisses me off, man. I don't know how else to explain it. But I see a lot of people trying to discredit this, like, oh, Game Pass subscribers are just so hungry for scraps that they'll go ahead and play a game that's been out for a year. This is the problem with the gaming community and specifically Xbox fanboys. They would rather wait a year to rent the game through a crappy subscription service like Game Pass instead of paying for it at either at full price or on sale. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Like, this is the biggest problem that I have with modern gaming discourse because it's become clear that in recent years that there is a right and wrong way to play games according to certain people. In the console wars, it's very much like, oh, there is a right platform to play on, and if you play on any other platform, you are dumb. If you own a Nintendo Switch, you are an overgrown man-child. If you're an Xbox, you like garbage, you like crap. Same thing with Xbox fans talking about PlayStation 5. And one of the biggest criticisms I see is that, oh, Xbox fans, they'd rather rent games through Game Pass, like you don't actually own the games. And it's like, hold on, wait a minute. Are you saying that there is a right and wrong way to play games? That doesn't make any sense to me. And specifically, what is the problem, even if it's technically true and you want to call it that we're renting games through Game Pass? I don't see the problem with that. Growing up, I rented games all the time, especially when Blockbuster was still a thing. And no matter how many times I went in to rent a game, the guy behind the desk was never like, "Psh, you're not a real gamer, man. This is the reason why gaming is in decline. You should be buying games instead of coming here and renting games." Like, wait, when did it become bad to rent games? And I haven't really been able to get a clear answer on that. Like, what does it matter if someone plays a game by buying it or if they play it through Game Pass? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if you want to play games exclusively through Game Pass, cool. If you want to say, you know what, screw Game Pass, I don't like it. I don't like PS Plus Extra or any subscription service. I'd rather just buy my game straight up. Cool. If you're like, you know what, I don't want to mess with any digital games. I only want discs and that's how I play my games. Cool. Why do I care? Why do people care at all? I didn't buy Diablo 4. I got a code from it from Xbox, and I consider myself very, very lucky to have done so. Thanks again, Xbox, for doing that. Does that mean I'm part of the problem because I didn't pay for the game and therefore didn't fund its development, or like the devs are going to go starving because of that? How far do you want to take this? It's gotten so bad that you can't even acknowledge some of the good things that other platforms are doing. Mike Ibarra, who used to be an executive at Blizzard and also the former corporate VP at Microsoft, he recently took to Twitter and was like, "Man, I'm playing Horizon Forbidden West on PC and I think it's really cool." And people are jumping on him, man. People are like, just say that you want a job at Sony. You're a like PlayStation bootlicker. This is unacceptable. I'm like, like he's just saying that he enjoys the game and that it looks good and that he has respect for what PlayStation does. Like, are we really at the point where I can't get on here and acknowledge that some games that PlayStation and Nintendo does are really cool and really fun? And the answer is yes, because I've done that before and people are like, "Ray, you're a fake Xbox fan." Now, I haven't played Horizon Forbidden West. I played Horizon Zero Dawn. And I wouldn't say that that game was a banger. I'd say it was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was a banger. But to say that there are no bangers on PlayStation 5 or not acknowledge it at all, that's just false, man. That's just false. Same thing with Nintendo, and it's the same thing for people who can't acknowledge what Xbox brings to the table. Sure, they've struggled, they've kind of had ups and downs when it comes to their first-party output, but I guess this is just me for like the millionth time coming to you and saying console wars are dumb. They should not be the focus. You should focus on what you like. And because we're talking about Game Pass, you should focus on specifically avoiding this Pal World bug. Pal World is, of course, the game that took the world by storm by introducing the revolutionary premise of like, what if we made a game that was like Ark, but also like Pokemon, and the Pokemon had guns? It exploded in popularity a couple of months ago and was the largest third-party launch ever on Xbox Game Pass. Since then, I have fallen off completely from the game. I don't know what it is, I just hit a hard wall and I haven't been back since. Well, now Palworld is begging you to avoid this bug that was introduced in this latest patch that they just implemented. They took to Twitter and said, in the Xbox version V206 that was released today, we have confirmed an issue where multiplayer save data is not being loaded correctly when multiplayer save data from an older version is loaded. This issue is currently being investigated by the development team. In the meantime, we apologize, but please do not try to load multiplayer data on Xbox. We apologize for any inconvenience caused. So if you're going to play Palworld, just do so by yourself. Don't run around with anyone else, I guess. Now, Palworld, weirdly enough, has been Xbox's only exclusive in the first half of 2024. That is until Hellblade 2 shows up at the end of May. Which is pretty good because it's like, hey, we got this really popular game that you can only play on Xbox and PC. But it seems that they're struggling with a lot of issues and glitches. Yes, I know the game isn't officially out yet, but people are still complaining about, oh, my game keeps crashing. Oh, I'll go into a dungeon and it'll crash. Oh, my world won't load correctly. What's going on? There's all these glitches. I must have gotten really lucky because in my playthrough, I rarely ran into any issues. I think my game crashed twice over a span of like 30, 40 hours. But with that being said, if this is like the only Xbox exclusive out there right now, then Xbox needs to work overtime with Pocket Pair. Maybe they don't acquire them. Maybe they don't take out the checkbook just yet. Then Xbox needs to make doubly sure. They need to team up with Pocket Pair, give them everything that they need in order to make this game run smoothly on Xbox consoles. It's just not a good look. Every other week, it feels like I turn around and there is another issue with Xbox with deleting saves or like something's going crazy on that front. Baldur's Gate 3, Minecraft, and now Pal World. Like, what's going on, man? Get your act together a little bit. Now, before I ended the video, I just wanted to talk about these really cool special edition Xboxes that you can bid to buy them, but it's for a good cause. Xbox Australia and New Zealand has unveiled 3 unique Series X console designs this week, built in collaboration with Australia's Cure Cancer Foundation. Now, before you're like, but Ray, I don't live in Australia or New Zealand, why are you talking about this? These consoles are available for international bidding. But keep in mind that it's all based on Australian dollars or whatever currency that they got over there. So be aware of that, like this, whatever your specific conversion rate is. And of course, even if you don't win, all of your money goes to Australia's Cure Cancer Foundation. I really like the one in the middle right here, this kind of like blue-purple splash. It kind of reminds me of like the, what's it called? It's like the berry Pop-Tart with the purple and the blue splashes. The other two, okay, hold on. I gotta be a little careful. I don't want to be too critical of these consoles because I don't want to come across. I feel like it's a trap. That's all I'll say. So all I'll say is that I like the one in the middle. The other two, I won't say anything else about. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I have to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready, the YouTube channel that is all about Xbox. Consider subscribing if you like Xbox, if you like my content. If not, I'm going to move on with my life. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.